Hey everyone, welcome to my channel. I am Stephanie and I am an eBay reseller, and I have had a YouTube channel for not quite a year now. And every now and then I do a what sold video. It's not as consistent as I would like it to be because I have a full-time job, and I love eBay. I've been doing it for many years, but it's my secondary job, so it's my secondary income. I love it. I love it. But anyway, I do really three kinds of videos. Unboxings, and I also do haul videos to show you what I've found to resell. And then I do these what sold videos. And sometimes I do other like tips about different things about selling. But today I'm going to be doing a what sold video. And today, because in my last what sold video, I asked if you thought it was a good idea to include the TheRealReal sales. Today I am doing that. So it's a pretty big what sold video. There's a lot of items in here, so it's going to be longer than average. And it's also, I was traveling for 2 weeks. So it's really only 2 weeks worth of sales, but it's, there were a couple weeks where I didn't make any sales on eBay because I put my store on hold because I was not here to ship my items. So that is a great benefit of eBay, by the way. One great benefit is that you can put time away, and you can either continue to get sales while you're away and then just ship them when you get home, or you can just put the store on hold while you're away and wait until you get home to start making sales again. So anyway, that is a great thing that eBay offers. All right, here we go. What sold? We are going to start with TheRealReal. We're going to start with TheRealReal. If anybody has followed my channel at all, you know the story of the Prada visor. Okay, the Prada visor, I got it in that $450 designer box that they only offered one time that I've seen. That came in that box, and I was, it's been a whirlwind for me. That box, it was 4 items. The other 3 have sold. I've made my money back. All the money from this Prada visor is going to be profit from that box, okay? So that's why it's super exciting that they priced a nylon visor at $481. So my part of, it was actually priced at $500 and something, but it got returned once, and then it got back, and then shortly after it got back into stock, it got discounted 10% off. So anyway, it sold for $481, and $293 of that is my profit. However, yes, it did. This is the second time it sold, okay? But now that person said they want to return it, but it's in 1 or 2 days of actually the person being too late to return it. So I don't know what's going to happen. It could get returned for a second time and have a third person wait for a third person to buy it. I hope that doesn't happen, because that means it's probably going to get discounted again and I'll get less money. So, all right. And I do a lot of the eBay stuff and on YouTube. I do that for fun, but part of it is to make money. And so, yeah. All right. The second thing that sold on TheRealReal is this pair of Salvador Ferragamo vintage leather pumps. Those came in a DIY designer box from ThredUp, and I don't find that Salvador Ferragamo shoes do very well on here. And you're probably thinking, well, you should probably just sell them yourself on eBay. Yeah, you're probably right if that's what you're thinking. But they got discounted to 70% off, and they sold for $24. So if something at TheRealReal sells for under $100, my percentage of commission is 20%. So anyway, I got $4.80 for that pair of shoes. Pretty terrible. By the way, the next several items are going to look pretty terrible. But a couple things to keep in mind are, one of the reasons I sent a big shipment of things into TheRealReal in May was because I got a bonus of $200 to do that. $200 in site credit, not $200 in cash. And so some of these items I'm going to talk about here that didn't do very well were items that had already not sold on eBay for quite some time. And so I didn't just take brand new things that I had and just throw them, a lot of them were items that I took out of my eBay stock because they had already been trying to sell for a while and hadn't. And so at least I got something for them rather than sitting in my bins. Okay. So that was the Salvador Ferragamo. The next up is an Alice and Olivia Bateau neckline mini dress that came in a DIY designer box from ThredUp. Sold for 30% discount. It sold for $38 at TheRealReal. My commission was $7.70. Not the greatest. The next item is this Diane von Furstenberg mini dress. It didn't sell for much. Again, it actually sold fairly quickly, but it didn't sell for much. Oh wait, no, this one was, no, this was discounted 50%, my bad. Sold for $22, my part of that was $4.50. Not great. Moving on to the next one, Brian Atwood patent leather pumps. These, I knew they wouldn't sell for well. They weren't selling on eBay at all. They sold for $20.50. My commission on that was $4.90. So now keep in mind that items that come in a DIY designer box cost me about $20 to $23. So yeah, that sucks. So all right, next up is this Trina Turk coat. That sold for $17.25. It was at an 85% discount. So if you ever hear me say Trina Turk items don't sell for very much, here's an example of that, unfortunately. All right, next up is this. By the way, I got that Trina Turk coat at a thrift store. So next up is this Saloni open front sweater. I got this at a thrift store a long time ago. It also got down to 85% off and sold for $9.75. So I got $1.95 for that. Boo. Next is this Alice and Olivia, another Alice and Olivia dress. They don't sell very well, unfortunately, on eBay or TheRealReal. So that sold for $16 at a 60% discount. My commission was $3.20. I have to pause for a moment. Okay, back to the next item is this Diane von Furstenberg silk floral blouse. That sold for $27. My part of it was $5.40. So, you know, the sad thing is Diane von Furstenberg is a great name, and a lot of these names that I'm talking about are great names. I think there's just so many of the items out there that people have a lot to choose from. They have a lot of platforms to choose from, so there's a lot of competition. And so the secondary market for a lot of these are weirdly lower than you could buy. Like this silk blouse was probably $200 in store. I don't know, probably something like that. So anyway, it is odd, but and that's how it is. All right, next up is this Trina Turk printed blazer. It was super cute. It actually sold for $38.50, and I made $7.07 on it. So that is a bit of a sad story from TheRealReal. It actually isn't too sad because I did get that additional $200 because I sent them there and I got something for the items. And with the $200, I did actually pretty okay on those. So now we are moving on to eBay, and believe it or not, the eBay story is much better. Yeah, I know the question is, well, why don't you just sell some of this on eBay? Sometimes things just don't sell on eBay. I like the Trina Turk stuff. There's just so much more competition. eBay is the biggest secondary platform out there. And so sometimes it just will sit and sit and sit. Sometimes I'd rather get $7 than, you know, wait 2 years and have it sitting here for 2 years. So that is part of it. And the other part, again, is the amount that, if you have a good promotion, TheRealReal always offers some kind of a promotion every month, like sell this much and get this much. That promotion in May was really good, and so the bonus money was really kind of made it worthwhile. So, all right, on to eBay. First thing that sold was this Alice and Olivia silk blouse. This was a DIY designer item, and it's absolutely beautiful silk shirt. But this sold within a couple of days for $26. So that was great. I actually made money on that. I did not lose any money on that. Next up is this Burberry London beautiful coat with a removable wool lining. I had that for sale. That is from a DIY designer box from ThredUp. Sold for $109, and it only took a couple of weeks to sell. So that was pretty good. And a wonderful YouTube subscriber did buy that item. She followed my link to my eBay store and bought that from my eBay store. So thank you so much for that purchase, by the way. All right, next up is this ModCloth dress. This was a dress that I personally got from ModCloth. I bet I got it 2 years ago. It has been for sale on my eBay store for at least a year, maybe even 2 years. So I had it discounted down to $15. Like I said, it took at least a year to sell, probably more like 2. I still have one like this in the same pattern to sell, and it still hasn't sold, so you just never know. But anyway, so that was my own stock. I did not buy that to sell it. Next up is this vintage Hermes men's cotton linen shirt. And I got this at, I follow some local auctions around the Minneapolis area. And I got this from an auction. And I had to drive up to the house somewhere near Minneapolis to go pick it up when I want it. This and a couple other things. And so I think I bought it for about $40 and I sold it for $99. It was, that was a really good deal. I think it took about a month to sell. And moving on to the next item is this Lululemon Wonder Train headband. That headband I got in a fun box. So my cost was about $5. I sold it for $15 minus fees. Did okay on that one. I love it when I sell fun box items because some of the stuff you get in there, really, you're not going to sell it for much, if at all. And I don't even want to waste time. If it's, you know, if I'm going to make $2, I'm definitely not going to spend my time trying to sell it. So next up is this House of Harlow Sherpa crossbody. It's kind of like a carry-on bag. This was, I'm so glad this came up because I wanted to mention something. This came from yellow tag clearance at TJMaxx. And something really worthwhile of note is yellow tag clearance at TJMaxx only happens twice a year. It happens January and February. That's their biggest yellow tag clearance. That's when things go down to the absolute rock bottom price. And you get the best deal you can get at TJMaxx during that time. So it's January, February. The end of February is the best deals. And then right about mid to late June, the second yellow tag clearance starts. And so late June to early August, and that is like about right now. So I'm just saying, this week and next week, if you are interested in getting some yellow tag clearance, go there now or soon, because it'll be happening. So once you see a yellow tag, that is the final price. And so when you see me week after week talking about items I've sold that was yellow tag clearance, that's still from what I bought during January and February. I spent quite a bit of time and money getting those items on yellow tag clearance. So it's not like I'm getting yellow tag clearance every week. I'm buying it. It's all still from the stuff that I listed in January and February. So anyway, I did great on this one. This crossbody bag sold for $48. So I did well on that. It did take, you know, probably 6 months to sell. Nope, that's okay though. Next up is this pair of Jimmy Choo pumps. Jimmy Choo does okay. It depends on if they're damaged or not. But these sold for $47 and I shipped them to someone in Germany, I believe. And $47. They came in a DIY designer box, so I did pretty well on those. And let's see, where are we at here? Next up is this VTech children's laptop. It's not a real laptop, it's a toy laptop. That was yellow tag clearance from January and February. I think I paid about $2 for it, and it sold for $19. And it did take, 5 or 6 months to sell. Moving on to the next item is this Viola Castellani Italian belt bag that goes around your waist or across your chest, depending on how you like to wear it. That was yellow tag clearance at TJMaxx from January and February. So again, it did take a long time to sell. And it sold for $36, which I did great on that one. Next up is this Emilio Pucci men's swim top. I think it's a rash guard swim top. I'm not someone who does a lot of like ocean sports, but I think it's for surfing or something. I'm not actually sure, but this came in a men's designer box. I sent it into TheRealReal. They did not accept that brand name. I thought they did, but they don't. And so I listed it on eBay, and it took a long time, and it did not sell. I think like 6 months. So it finally did sell for $25. So I did okay on that. I think I said yes. I got that in a men's designer box from Prada. Next up is this Patricia Field Sex in the City multicolor clutch. I got this cute little clutch from, I was actually at a consignment store, clothing consignment store, and I was actually dropping off some items and I saw this and I just thought, oh, this is unique looking, and I looked it up and found out that it was, you know, rare, and I got it for a couple bucks and I sold it for $22 within about 2 months, so that's good. All right, next up is this Pierre Balmain women's jacket, and this jacket I sold to somebody overseas. I can't remember where, but it was actually, it had a couple of, it came in a DIY designer box, and it had a couple of like kind of like snags. They needed to be fixed, and so it took a while to sell. I think it took someone who knows how to fix that kind of thing, and she bought it for $47.20. You probably know a Balmain jacket is worth a lot more if it didn't have those faults, but I was happy to get $47.20 because that was in a DIY designer box, so the cost was about $22, so I did okay on that one. Just 4 more items now. I've got this pair of Christian Louboutin ballerina flats. I had sent these into TheRealReal, but there was a mark on the inside heel of the shoe, and so they did not accept them because of that. And so I got these at a thrift store. I believe I paid about $20 for them, and I sold them for $52 on eBay. So that was good. They were super cute. If they had fit me better, I would have kept them myself. They were just adorable. And then next up is this Prada nylon cosmetics bag. This item was dirty, and so I cleaned it. I spent quite a lot of time cleaning it. The inside of the bag, the protective liner on the inside of this bag was, what's the word? It was kind of peeling off. And so I did have to discount this. I did get this in a DIY designer box that I opened with Christina from Stina Resells. So this bag sold for $36.80, and I thought that was okay for what was the situation of the item. And then just one more item actually, is this Equipment Femme 100% silk shirt. And this, I got this at a thrift store, I think for about $8. I sold it for $18. It was not the best sale, but it was okay. So I did way better on eBay, as you can obviously see, than I did at TheRealReal. But anyway, I got lots of sales, and that is what has sold. So thank you so much for watching. Would love your comments below, and have a wonderful day.